Alright, so this is just a video of me talking to the camera. So if you want to skip it, go ahead. But I'm just going to touch on uh, like terminology. I hear video or I see people make videos on what bushcraft is to them. And so I'm going to do that. But I'm also just going to kind of touch on, like terms, like bushcraft slash survival. A lot of my videos have that, a lot of the people's videos, because some of that stuff is interchangeable, some of it's not. Uh, Survival is one thing, bushcraft is one thing, but they have things in common. Just like bushcraft is one thing and fishing is one thing, but a lot of bushcrafters, myself included, carry a fishing kit. Um, so a lot of the gear and skills are interchangeable. Just being a general outdoorsman, you would have something to talk to a bushcrafter about. Just and that's really the thing, is you're an outdoorsman. If that is the most basic catch-all term I can think of, is just you're an outdoorsman. But you have focal points or focus, areas, certain areas you focus on. Bushcrafter or woodscrafter is more skill oriented, where you're going out, you're hiking down a trail. You might take the same trail as a hunter or fisherman, but your purpose on that trail is different. That's really the only thing that separates, one from the other. And, like for me, survival is its own thing. If you take a survival course, you basically just learn of a certain set of skills and a certain frame of mind. You could be the best bushcrafter in the world, but you may not make it through the survival situation if you don't have the mental, capability of getting through it. Because, to be honest, if you've got a bushcrafting kit, a full-on bushcrafting kit, you've basically got a survival kit. And then some. You've got your basics, and then you've got some extras because you've got stuff because you're out. You've got an extra carving knife or something like that. And that's basically my case. Is I've got a bunch of cutting tools that would come in handy in a survival situation, but they're not really needed for survival. They're needed for bushcraft because they're crafting tools. How I got into bushcraft is I've always been in the outdoors. I've always gone camping. I've always gone fishing. I've always, gone scout hunting, stuff like that. But bushcraft was survival skills turned into a hobby. I started seeing these survival shows and stuff like that. Not that I give a whole lot of weight to those survival shows. There's a few little trinkets of information you can take from them, but they're mostly for entertainment. I get that. But, I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. I think it'd be neat to just go out and, practice a bow drill fire, for example. So that was really what it was these, stuff I was seeing on the survival shows and stuff when I was watching them. I don't watch them much anymore. But I was making a kit, and that's how I found bushcraft. But you could always say that I was a bushcrafter even before I knew what bushcrafting was, because I was into that stuff. I would go out into the woods, and I would try to, nap an flint arrowhead or an obsidian arrowhead or something like that. So, a lot of these terms are interchangeable, but they're different. They have a lot of the same skills and gear in common, but like that, you might have three guys walking on the same trail, but their purpose is different. One guy might be tracking to, trying to find sign of deer, another guy's going to a fishing hole, and another guy's looking for bow staves. And that's what I run into a lot. I run into people on the trail. So that's what bushcrafting was for me when I first got into it, and now it's turned into its own hobby. I used to be into off-roading. I had a Jeep Cherokee that I had built up, and it got wrecked, and then I bought a Mitsubishi Montero, an old 80s version, and I'd chase my wife's cousin around the logging roads in Oregon in his jacked up Jeep, and we'd go out, make a fire, make lunch, and then hit a couple of mud holes and come home. that's what got me out into the woods, and that's why I had the camping survival gear. But truth be told, I was also bushcrafting. They're like that. Off-roading, survival, and bushcraft were all rolled up in the same trip. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. My true definition of survival skills, growing up in the aftermath of Mount St. Helens, seeing all the destruction and stuff like that, it was more of a mindset, and a plan of action was survival. Where were you going to go? Where, like, say, your evacuation, not bug out, evacuation plan. Evacuation location, not bug out location. Stuff like that, because people needed to find you. Bug out kind of lends itself to, you're leaving and you don't want to be found, in some cases. So anyways, that's just kind of my 2 cents on what bushcraft is for me. It's become its own hobby for me, but it was basically those survival skills and other outdoor skills all summed up under one title. But it's something different for everybody, though. Different people have their different explanations and definitions of it. Some people don't consider leatherworking bushcraft, but other people do. I don't. I think leatherworking is leatherworking. I make a leather pouch for bushcrafting. So, but that's just my opinion and my, because I separate the two. Not to say that leatherworking doesn't help my bushcraft skills, because I can do field repairs while I'm out doing that. And I having crafted a lot of my leather stuff with the very sewing kit I carry out while I'm out bushcrafting, makes me that much better with the gear I have. So, it's all kind of self-supportive, I guess, or self-contained. And anyways, I'd encourage you to leave me some comments, what you think bushcraft is, or, survival, your personal definition, and post your own video on it. That would be my my challenge, is post a video on it, giving your 2 cents on it. So anyways, we'll see you guys later.